Hello, Assalamualaikum. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes. Waalaikumsalam.
Okay.
Yeah, salam. I can hear you.
Okay, thank you for the response. Can we start now, Nadiah, or we need to wait for other participants to join in? Okay, so yeah, because tentatively we need to start at 4 p.m., right? So I really hope that all of you are doing fine. How are you guys? I can see that 9 participants currently are joined in with me. So I need to set this one, audio setting first.
Dr. Tuti?
Yes.
Yes, you may start now.
Okay. Thank you, Nadiah.
Thank you.
All right. So yeah, how are you guys? So really appreciate if you can open the camera so that we can have two-way communications. For those that can open the camera, you may open the camera. Okay. All right. So hi, Wei Chen Lo. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine, thank you.
How should I address you?
You can address me Lau.
Lau. Okay. All right, cool. Nice to have you in. Hi, Shafiq. Hi, Farhana. Hi, Xiaopeng. I'm not sure. Hi. Hi, Suraya. Hi, Wayang. Okay. So I think without further ado, let us start our session for today. Okay. And this is actually the coaching session for your 5 minutes final year project competition for 2021. Okay. Actually, for this today's sessions, we have already selected randomly selected a few videos for us to display, for me to display, and then let us go through the comments lah. I mean, let us take a look the strength and also the weaknesses that perhaps later on you can enhance for your final round sessions later, inshallah. Okay, but before I share the videos that I've been randomly selected with you, I really hope that let me share my screen first, and then we go through a few particular things that I need to share with you. Okay, very important things that you need to make sure being focused in your presentations. Okay, because actually when we are doing an online presentations, it's quite challenges, right? It's quite challenges because you have a very limited space. Okay, this is the small space of the screens that you need to present your content and whatnot. Instead of bila kita ada face to face, perhaps we have more space, and then the expression is more compared to online, doing online session. So these are the challenges that all of you need to embrace. If I'm not mistaken, you will present it live virtually. Is it true?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Lau, for that response. Okay, so allow me to share my screen first. These are the few points that I need to emphasize before we go further into our discussions with regards to the videos that have been selected randomly. Hold on. Okay, can you see my slide now?
Yes.
Yeah, I can see you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so this will be our session for today, and this is me. Okay, you can call me Tuti, and I'm actually a lecturer at UITM. Actually, I've the intention to be here together with you is to share my experience as a presenter, as a speaker, and also as one of the participants in not in 5 minutes but in 3 minutes thesis and represent UPM, I think a few years back ago. Okay, so yeah, anyway, this is not about me. Today's is about all of you. So let us move on. Okay, so first of all, that I want to emphasize a few things. Okay, in your presentation, perhaps you can, you can focus later on for your practice for the final session. Okay, so I divided the factors into 3 points. Okay, first of all, the contents is not the proposal, actually the contents of the presentations for your 5 minutes final year project. And then the second one, the presentations itself. Okay, and then the third one is the presenter, which is you, okay, as a presenter. So of course, these are the 3 main component for us to look into as we have to live presenting our content later on kan dalam the competitions. Okay, let's move on to content of the proposal first. I mean the presentation. Sorry, my bad, it's a typo that. Okay, so how actually you have to present your content of the presentation. Okay, when I go through a few videos that have been selected randomly, there's a few key points. I think I summarize it all because if I want to comment one by one the videos, perhaps you don't have enough time for all of that. Okay, so I just summarize the points and then make it in this presentation so that all of you can learn from the similar points that I've commented. Okay, so basically the presentation is amazing. Okay, banyak videos yang with memang very good presentation. Okay, however, I really need to emphasize on how you highlighting your research. Okay, so first of all, a few videos are good in contextualize the problems of the research, but there's a few of videos that are not actually highlighted and contextualize their problem. So it seems that it's not very clear the problems that we face and why is actually the intention that you want to do the research. Okay, but some of the videos is very good. Okay, so this is actually the summarizations of every videos. Okay, so first of all, we have the first factors, which is you need to contextualize the problem. Second one, show why your problems is matters. Okay, because at the end of the day, here come your research. Okay, you want to highlight it why your research is important and crucial for everyone to understand this particular kind of points. Okay, so how you want to contextualize the problem in your presentation? First of all, perhaps there's a few questions that you need to ask yourself and start to develop the points around these particular questions. Okay, so perhaps you later on you can sit down and ask these questions to contextualize your presentation. First of all, where and when does the problem arise? Okay, where and when does the problem arise? Who does the problem affect? What attempts have been made to solve the problem? Okay, perhaps you can just santai-santai lah explain that ataupun present that in kind of a storytelling kind of thing, okay? But you need to ask these particular questions in order for you to present your presentation. Kejap, I'm losing the screen. Kejap. I lost my screen already. Okay, cool. Now I can see that. Okay, the second one is, after you have been successfully put in context your research or your problems, okay, by answering this kind of questions, perhaps you can show why it matters, explain and elaborate why it matters. These are the few questions that I've stated here to make it easier for you to show why it matters in your presentation later on. Okay, so the first questions that you may ask yourself is, what will happen if the problem is not solved? You need to highlight this in your presentation. Okay, so these are the things that you need to do. Okay, these are the things that the problem arise here and then and whatnot. Okay, and what happened if the problem is not solved? And who will feel the consequences? Perhaps you can bring about what are the participants ataupun sample a specific groups that will feel the consequences if the problem is still there. Okay, does the problem have a wider relevance? So means perhaps you can up level the problems and then show why it matters at the upper levels, the kind of thing. Okay, so these are the 3 questions, basic questions that you may want to ask yourself to make sure that your problems, research problem is highlighted clearly and explicitly. We want to show this is why our research is important. Okay. All right, next. The third one is last, okay, but most and foremost, these are the things lah. These are the G's of the presentation. You need to set your aims and objective. What I said as here come your research. Okay. After you have put in context your research problems and explain why it matters, and then here you go. This is my research. You know. So in this particular presentations, you need to highlight the aim of your study, perhaps, and then your specific objectives together with, perhaps a bit of your method that you use in the research. Okay, and just make sure that you use the layman words lah. It's not as technical word kan, macam reduce the technical words and the what we call that the specific words that perhaps cannot be understood by the general participants ataupun general audience. Okay, just make sure that you use a layman word. Sesasul petang-petang. Layman words. I'm so sorry. Okay, because I have so many class today. Ini I just insert je celah-celah untuk masuk sekejap di coaching session. I'm so sorry for that. Okay, so these are the sample. Okay, you can start your presentation. I mean, it's not start your presentations. You can at least come to your objectives or come to your research by saying these particular things lah. Thus, the aim of this study. Thus, here comes my research. Okay, and the methods is use this and that. Okay, are you cool with that? All right, cool. Any questions at this particular point? You need to copy this. I think later on I will share the slide with the organizers so that they can send it to you. So it's much more easier for you to refer. Okay, so that will be the contextualize of the problem. So this is the G's of the presentations. In 5 minutes, I think this will be the good point for you to highlight. And then perhaps the style of you highlighting this particular thing is not really technical, and then it's not really straight lah. You can also put a sense of humor in between of the presentations, okay, and then just go along and embrace the moments, okay, because some of the participants, I can say that they were too stiff in front of the camera, perhaps because of the nerves. So just, you know, just change the mindset that you want to share your research with everybody else outside there. Okay, so just enjoy the moments and then present it as you are happy with that particular points. Okay, rather than so serious in front of the camera and whatnot. You can play around a little bit here and there, okay, during your presentations, but not really exceeded the lines lah. Jangan pula sampai jadi macam you know, that kind of thing. Okay, so that will be the first factors, which is the content of the presentation. These are the things that is the major things that you need to focus. Okay, the second one is the presentation. Okay, because during my filter, I said it. During my sessions or go through the videos and select randomly the videos, I can see a few of the slides is not really engaging with the participants. Okay, sometimes there are too many information in one slide. Okay, I know that you need to prepare just one slide without any animations, any movement and whatnot. So please, you need to optimize that particular one slide to make sure that your audience understand your research. I mean, put in context of your research using that particular slide. Okay, so presentations is really crucial. How you arrange your content in one particular slide is very important. Okay, so let us take a look at a few points in the presentations that you need to focus on. Okay, first of all, I noticed that many of you have visualized the data. Okay, if you have some data, you have some figures, okay, perhaps you present it in infographic, but too much of infographic is also no good for our presentation. Okay, but just to make sure that all the data or perhaps the informations that you put in the table, you can visualize it in more creative way. Okay, by using this particular technique and strategy, actually it can actually emphasize the points more, and the audience can also understand easier the data that you have presented. Okay, so first of all, please visualize your data. Never put it in a long and lengthy sentences. Okay, that one is the first one. The second one, I believe less is more. So means Do not throw too much information on the screen to the extent of your audience don't know where to focus on. So please, if you have this particular superstar in your research, highlight this particular superstar in one slide. So means I still believe less is more. Keep slide background clean. Okay, clean, and usually we use a solid color, not necessarily white. Okay, but if you have black, red, you know, any kind of solid color should be fine. But please avoid like pattern kind of slide, because it will actually makes your slide too crowded. Okay, to all together with the too much of informations and the graphics and images. Okay, suddenly eventually it won't make sense for your for your audience. Sorry. Okay, and the third one is the rule of thirds. Okay, this is actually the key elements of this, how the key elements of the slide should be arranged. Sometimes I can see in some of the videos, the images or the images and the graphic, audio, visual kind of aids of your slide is actually arranged not aligned towards each other. Okay, and sometimes we as a audience, when we see that particular information I've been presenting, we can't make sense of it. Okay, so please make sure that you follow the rule of thirds. The rule of thirds actually is the rules that is followed by so many designers, okay, to arrange the elements of their presentations. Okay, thus it is the same lah, goes the same lah when you are using any types of a platform, PowerPoint, Canva, any parts of the platform. Okay, so it should be places along the PowerPoint points. Later on, I will show you how we want to arrange these particular key elements on our slide. Okay, and then please use images that you use, please format it in scalable vector graphics rather than PNG or JPEG, because when we are doing online presentation, perhaps later when you display your slide, okay, it can be blur at certain point. Kalau you guna image of JPEG or PNG and whatnot, it can be blur when it comes to the presentations on the screen. Okay, so please use SVG format for your images, because when you actually zoom in or zoom out this kind of images, it will look good without losing the quality of the images. So it's very important for you to formatting lah you punya images and videos. Tak ada videos tak boleh kan, images only. Okay, so please focus on that. So this is what it actually means by visualize your data. Please avoid these kinds of lengthy explanations or words and whatnot on your slide. Okay, instead you can just simply put it in infographic kind of thing, or tak adalah infographic sangat kan, but just arrange it in so that your audience can visualize your data much more easier. Okay, less is more. These are the rules for the presentations, especially online. Okay, so perhaps these are the things that we want to highlight in our research. For example, this one title in my mind. So you have these two particular things that you want to highlight in your research problem, that you want to contextualize your problems or research. So please make sure that the statements, the words, the images is all are meaningful to your explanation and can facilitate your explanation. Okay, so perhaps you need to have a very small title, adalah sikit title so that audience can follow, or these are the titles, these are the variables that involves and whatnot. Okay, so these are your superstar in your research. So at least it is displayed in your slide. Okay, please make sure that all the images that you use on your slide is useful for your presentation. So images like cartoons ke kan, cartoons, and then sometimes ada cartoons that is not really related to your research, please exclude it. Okay, don't put it on your slide. Just put the images and the words that is really closely related to your presentation, that can help the audience to understand your point of view. Okay, so this is less is more. This is another examples that you can put your presentation. So that when audience see your slide, they can make sense. These are the informations that you elaborate in your explanations. Okay. the rule of thirds. This is actually how we should arrange. Okay, we should arrange the key elements of our presentation. Okay, for examples like these are the first arrangement. Okay, I give you an examples, but this one is actually not follow what we call as the rule of thirds presentation. Okay, how we actually want to arrange according to the rule of thirds. Okay, I need to end my show because I need to demonstrate it to you. Okay, let's say we have this particular slide. Okay, actually, you can add the line here kan using the ruler, but currently I add it manually lah, so that it's much more easier because my laptop is actually not compatible to add the ruler kind of figures. Okay, so first of all, you need to divide your screen or your slide into 3 particular sections. I'm sorry about the line. Okay, and then this also to 3 particular sections. Okay, and this we have the intersections point. This is what we call as a PowerPoint. Okay, so all the key elements of our presentation should be arranged around this PowerPoint. Approximately, this is out of the point. Okay, so perhaps you need to arrange it like this. Contoh lah kan. Let's say this picture is at this point. Okay, and you have this particular title is approximately here. And then the explanation is there. Here you go. So you have these key elements is around the PowerPoint. Okay, if we go again, let's say I delete this point. Okay, and then you can see the arrangement is better compared to the previous arrangement. Because actually, this is how our brain works. Tak tahulah scientifically proven or not kan? But usually we will focus on the center of the line. Okay, so if you actually refer to the previous slide and compare to this particular slide, you think which one is better? I don't know. I can say this one is better. How about you? Lau, how about you? Which one do you think it's better?
Second one is better.
The second one. How about Shafiq?
Yeah, the second one is actually better.
Okay, Farhana, how about you?
The second one, doctor.
Oh, the second one, yes, the second one. Okay, because it is actually arranged at the PowerPoints, the key elements. Okay, last but not least, please use SVG. Okay, this one is actually the why you need to use SVG in your presentation, because sometimes you download it over and over again. Sometimes the pixel will become smaller and smaller when you download it repeated in one sequence. So this is actually JPEG kind of picture. If I actually resize it and make it larger, okay, you can see the pixel, it become pixelate. Okay, whereas for SVG, I think if we make it larger, it's still clean and clear. It's clean and clear and then smooth. It's not pixelate. So please, because this one is actually I used to watch in the videos, pre-recorded videos that all of you submitted. Yeah? So I can see these are one of the problems that we face with because a few of the presentations, I can see that images is very blurred, memang blurry. Okay, so sometimes you can't make sense with the information. So please focus on the images too. Okay, so that will be all for the presentation. Okay, any questions at that particular point? If you have any questions that you can ask, no worries. Okay, so I guess we're all clear at that point. The last one will be the presenter, which is you. Okay, let me design it. Sorry. Okay, so what you need to do, of course, you need to practice your presentation and you need to time yourself. And I really strongly suggest if you have an audience in front of you so that they can give a feedback to you. Don't make your presentation, your final presentation is the first time you get the feedback from the judges. Okay, so make sure that you practice your presentation in front of the mirror. Yes, of course, that one is compulsory. Okay, that one is a self-reflections of your presentation. But of course, you need also to practice in front of audience so that your audience, your friends, your mom, your dad, your sister, okay, can give a feedback to you so that you can do better and better. Okay. Second of all, of course, you need to dealing with the nerves. Even though in the pre-recorded videos, I can see some of you are so nervous. When you are nervous, actually you're talking too fast. Okay, when you're talking fast, the pace is fast, then sometimes you mumbling and almost swallowing the words. So the audience, as of me, I listen to that particular videos, I can't actually hear clearly the words that you intend to speak and present. Okay, and then please make sure your explanation or your elaborations actually related to the slide, the points stated in the slide. Okay, because sometimes when the presentations becomes too fast or you lost in the middle of nowhere, okay, perhaps the audience get back to your slide. So at least when you saying the words, kan, you pronounce some points that is related to the PowerPoint or the slide that you're presenting, then we can make sense. Oh, here it is. Okay, so please make sure the points, there is some points that you need to highlight it in your elaborations, in your presentation. Please make sure it's aligned with the words that you use in the slide. Because sometimes I can see that you are saying these particular words, but that particular words is different to the slides that you're presenting. Okay, so please make sure it aligns. Okay, during your presentations, even though you only have 5 minutes, okay, but because you need to deal with the nerves, kan? Sometimes when you start, especially live, please pause first to think later. So perhaps you need to start with a slower pace. Then when you start with slower pace, then you can deal with your nerves. Kadang-kadang bila kita nervous, we start to talk very fast. So without you actually realize, okay, your tone, your pace will affected. So bila tone and pace affected, then your presentation is actually will ruin by the time. Macam itulah. Okay, so means you need to really be careful with the tone and the pace. Sometimes you have energy at the first point, at the beginning of the presentations, but towards the middle and the end, suddenly the energy is lower and lower. So you tend to become a monotonous presenter. So please make sure the whole durations of 5 minutes, okay, you need to make sure that your energy is at the same level, but play around with the tone. So it means you have a higher tone, you have the middle range of tone, and you have a lower tone. For examples, like if you want to emphasize, okay, emphasize some points in your presentations, perhaps you need to use a lower tone and a slower pace. Okay, these are the examples. Macam I cakap ni, lower tone, slower pace. So perhaps you need to use this particular strategy. Okay, it's not that you can't use the high tone, but there is definitely a strategies, a techniques in presenting something. Okay, if you want to emphasize and highlight an important point, usually we use our lower tone and we present it in a slower pace so that the audience will absorb the information. Okay, and please memorize your script. Don't read from the screen. Please try your best to memorize your script for 5 minutes, okay? Because if you actually read from the screen or somewhere else during your presentation, perhaps when you lost the point where you want to continue, then you lost also in your presentation. So please try your best to memorize your script, okay? Avoid to fill in the blank. What I mean here is, when you lost your words, please avoid to fill in the blank with this will ruin your presentation. So if you lost your word, what you need to do is just stop, pause. Okay, practice your presentation. Pause if you lost your word. Okay, don't fill in the blank with the filler. With the filler. Tu semua tu filler. Okay. All right. So please take care of the tone and the pace. Okay. Sometimes you go too fast. Sometimes you go too slow. Can. Okay. But please make sure that you realize which part that you need to go fast and which part that you need to go in the middle range, which part that you need to go and emphasize a certain point. So please make sure that these actually the things that you need to practice lah, during your presentation, before your presentation, okay? So plan, you need to pre-plan. Which part that you need to go explain these particular things in a very fast pace. Janganlah very fast sampai tak faham kan? But you need to pre-plan this and practice according to your plan. If you don't plan this, then you tend to lose your pace in the middle of nowhere during your presentation, especially when you are doing live presentation. Okay? All right. Gesture, body language, and facial expression. These are the most important things when doing online. Because sometimes you are dealing with some problematic, some kind of points, but your face is so happy. So it's not aligned with the points that you want to emphasize in the videos or the presentation. Okay, and some points that actually you need to feel happy with your, perhaps your study and whatnot, but your facial expression doesn't actually align with that particular words. Okay, and when you are actually doing an online presentation, please be careful with the gesture, especially the hands. Macam I buat ni lah kan. The hands ni, more or less, don't actually raise your hands more than your shoulder because we are doing online. Okay, so perhaps ini yang akan nampak dalam kamera kan. So don't raise your hands more than your shoulder height. Okay, jangan sampai macam ni lah. Okay, and then please make sure that you realize that particular gesture is for what. Perhaps that's not along the time, along 5 minutes you need to have this particular gesture of hand. Okay, not necessarily your hands need to move unstoppable without stopping. Okay, perhaps there is a certain points that you need to use your gestures. Perhaps nanti bila sampai dekat point that you need to make it emphasize, okay, highlighted in your research, then you need to use these particular figures to make sure that it is very important. Here it comes. There you go. You know, this kind of thing. Okay, but not all the time with the gesture. So if the points doesn't necessary untuk you guna gesture, then you don't have to use this gesture. Okay, just sit down and relax and then just speak out. Okay, but at certain points that need to emphasize the important points and whatnot, then you can use the hands gesture. But realize, please make sure that you realize, aware that don't raise your hands more than your shoulder height. That's the tips lah bila kita buat online presentation. Okay. All right, so I think, yeah, that will be all for me. That will be all from me. So these are the tips and tricks that you can use perhaps for your presentations for 5 minutes final year project, and also for your any presentations later on online presentations. Okay, so do you have any questions at that particular point? Adakah? Silakan. If you have any questions, just please ask me. Okay, so I guess there's no question. All right, cool. So I need to highlight a few of the strength from our friends' videos. Okay, these videos actually have been randomly selected. First of all is the participants with 21-35. I think it's Lau. I see the names. Yeah. Wait, the name is, yes, Lau Wei Shen. We have our participants here in this session. Am I correct? Okay. So the strength that I can see from Lau's video is Lau's use a conversation style of presentation. Okay. Later on, I will share a bit of the parts of the videos. Okay. What does it mean by conversation style? Actually, Lau's often asking a question to the audience. This, right? So asking question. The next question that you may ask is, so this is actually the style of conversation. So this kind of questions can actually develop a curiosity between among your participants. Okay, let us take a look at the videos. Okay, let me share the videos. Can you hear the sound?
No.
Oh,
No,
okay.
not really.
All right. Wait. Jump. I need to share this. Wait. Share screen. Optimize for video clip. Yep. Okay.
Familiar? No worries.
Okay. How about now?
I'm going to explain them using simple terms
All right. Okay. Cool. So let's watch together.
in just 5 minutes. So what is electrospinning? I believe you all have known what is spinning a yarn. So you definitely need your hands or machines to help you to spin a yarn. Or you can think about the cotton candy store in those theme parks. The store owners are going to spin the candy from the sugar solutions and collect them using a stick. That's the spinning. So what's the difference between electrospinning and those kind of spinning that I've mentioned?
Okay. Can you see? The first question is what are the electro spinning and this and that. Okay. So these are actually the questions that will actually develop a curiosity among the audience. Okay. What is that? You know, this kind of thing. So you can also integrate this kind of style in your presentation later. Okay. But perhaps we have Lau in here.
Electrospinning, I'm not going to use
Okay.
hand. I'm not
What is actually the first thing? It's not an error or mistake, but what is actually the first thing that you can figure out? Masa you saying something about the spinning with the hands. What happened to your hands at that particular point, Lau?
Oh, actually, that time I'm thinking that maybe I should emphasize on hands more. But I heard that doctor said we should not have the hand gesture above the shower. So I think can be eliminated.
Yes. Okay. So you can actually just showing the hands, but perhaps you can lower down your camera a bit because you need to show the hands, you know. But just make sure that below the shoulder. All right. So let us take a look.
I'm
That's a
going to
bit
use
more.
machines. But I'm going to adopt a force to help me to produce a very thin fiber that hands and machine couldn't do so. What is electrostatic force? Imagine, after you scrub a ruler for a while, what can
Okay, so as you can see, there's another questions asked. And the first word after Lau asked the questions, I really love this word. Okay, use this one, what we call as a persuasive words, okay, which is imagine. So when you are actually telling someone to imagine, okay, their minds will go to that particular place. So please use these particular words. We call it as a persuasive words. Okay, so this is cool.
you do later? You can use that ruler to attract some small pieces of papers on the table, right? That's the force. That's the electrostatic force that I'm going to adopt. So this fine, this weak, this very small force is going to help me to produce the very thin fiber I want. So how thin is it? Think about your hair. It is
Another questions. So how thin is it? Okay, so these are the examples from Lau, our friends here. And this is actually the style that you can adopt. Means you ask the questions and then of course you need to answer your own questions. But at least the questions asked is actually can develop the curiosity among the participants. Okay, all right, so congratulations, Lau. Okay, next, yes.
I have a question regarding the slides. Like
Mhm.
I was doing the recording, I put my video on the right, on the upper right side. So I purposely leave a blank for my slide in that particular space. So when we are doing live, should we left a space on our slide too?
Oh, okay. Because you were presenting live, right? I don't think it's necessary. Okay, just follow just fulfill the space on the slide because your videos will come out separately from the slides. Because they're doing this recording, of course, the presenter will come out, pop up on the sides of the slide, kan? But in live presentations, I don't think so. You don't have to lah now.
Okay, get it. Thank you.
All right. Okay, so all the best to Lau.
Okay, thank you.
All right, now let us take a look the second video that I've selected randomly. Okay, and the strength of these participants that I would like to highlight is he's showing an examples because it's about singing, tone and pitching and whatnot. So these participants, Muhammad Haris, if I'm not mistaken, okay, he sing along to show high pitch, low pitch and whatnot. Okay, so perhaps you can also adapt this particular thing if it's related to your study. Okay, let us take a look at the examples of the second video. Okay, wait, let me share. Okay, hold on 1 minute. Sorry, because it takes too long to open. Okay. Okay. So these are the second video. We have Haris together with us today. I don't think so because I can't say his name here, but however, let me play these videos and you can.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Haris bin Azizan from University Tun Hussein on Malaysia, UTHM. As the best vocalist in Festival Seni UTHM 2019, I know that singing in the right pitch is one of the most important things to master. Singing in the wrong pitch, however, is unpleasant to hear, and that will be a very miserable mistake, especially if singing has become part of someone's life or even someone's career. Learning.
Okay, as you can see, the tone and the pace also in a good terms. Okay, when actually Haris said singing in a, so actually the tone is a bit higher there, and then it come back to the middle range of tone. So perhaps this kind of presentations that you need to practice later on. So your voice need to have this high, medium range and also the low tone and pace. Okay, the pace is good in this particular video. So later on, if you want to practice, you can practice with this particular pace. Okay, let us just listen a bit longer.
Learning and teaching how to sing has always been a challenge, as it is one kind of knowledge that hardly shown by visual and cannot be written into books as a reference. It's true, we cannot see how high our voice go or how low can we produce our voice. That is one of the reasons why singing lessons usually requires a personal trainer to monitor their students, just to ensure that their students get the idea of singing in the right pitch. Learning and teaching singing needs someone with good listening capabilities, but not everyone has the ability to compare the pitch of a sound and produce the pitch that are supposed to produce by the vocal cord. So here I am. I would like to present about my project called Singing Pitch Guide for Multiple Voice Pitch Offset Detector.
Okay, so perhaps when you come, before you come to your research, you need to put in context and whatnot first. Okay, then later you come to the your research. Here comes my research. Okay, but in this video also, like I mentioned previously, perhaps the gesture of the hands need to be lower, below the shoulder range. Okay, and of course some of the gestures also you need to plan, you need to pre-plan when you want to use your hand as a gesture and emphasize the points. Okay, it's not necessary you need to move your hands all the time. All right, okay, so these are the second video that I shared with you. Okay, do you have any questions at that particular point? I won't share the full videos length, okay, because just I want to emphasize a few things lah with regards to the videos. Okay, the third videos perhaps that I need to refer to and then share with you. Okay, so I guess these participants also have a quality like Haris earlier, which is he have a clear tone, okay, clear tone, but however, towards the end, it starts to become monotonous. This one is the examples that I explained earlier. Okay, so you have to make sure that your energy and your tone will be maintained, okay, along the, for full 5 minutes towards the end, until the end of the presentation. Okay, let us take a look at this video. Chan Man Yi. Okay, wait, I need to share this one. Okay, perhaps the screen also a bit blurry. I don't know, is it only me or not? Okay, but you can see the quality of the videos. Perhaps you can also be careful with that.
Good days, guys. So I'd like to present my final year projects. My final project is the shading analysis of the large-scale solar farm in tropics. So first, have you ever think about one day the solar energy will be our dominant power supply in Malaysia? I'm pretty sure that you can always see many and many large-scale solar farm is going to develop, especially in tropics. As of the season in the tropical countries, potential to do the power generation. According to the Statistic website, the annual solar power generated in Malaysia has incredibly increased 1,000 times in region 10 years. This is due to the fast-growing development of the solar power industry in Malaysia.
Okay,
However,
so as you can see, the tone, the pronunciation is clear, the pace in a good term. But what I actually want to highlight is the slide. Okay, so as you can see, the slide, the words are actually too small to be read. So please make sure that later on in your final, make sure that all the data can facilitate your presentation. So at least the audience can refer to the slide to assist the understanding for your explanation. Okay, if not, then it won't make sense lah, because we can't really see the data in the box, like in this red box and whatnot. Okay, but in terms of the tone, the pronunciation, the pace, it's in the good terms. All right. Okay, so I think that will be good. Okay, let me share another video. Okay, perhaps this one is the last video. Okay, the strength of these presentations will be, I think it is a good slide presentation. Okay, so this is how actually a good images and good slide presentations, and what does it really mean by less is more, and then we can make sense about the presentation shared by these participants. Okay, let us take a look. This one last video from Irdina. Okay, let me share this one. Okay, wait, hold on. Okay, let me make it full screen. Okay, so as we can see, the slide presentation is actually, I think for me, it's a good slide presentation, because from this particular infographic kind of informations, we can make sense with the research, okay? But perhaps later when you're actually dealing with the final sessions and whatnot, please make sure that the presentations use a larger font and images, okay? So let us hear from these participants.
Group of viruses that cause disease such as cough, colds, sneezing, fever, and some respiratory symptom that is rapidly spreading among humans. On the other hand, school closure in response to the COVID-19 pandemic have shed light on a number of issues affecting educational access. COVID-19 is on the rise, causing a large number of children, adults, and youth to be unable to attend school and colleges. Similarly, school closure may have an impact on students due to unexpected pandemic in teacher and student communication, resulting in poor performance. Bridge 2020 reported that in order to avoid a strain during the pandemic season, School and colleges are shifting toward educational technology for student learning. Thus, I'm Abidin binti Muhammad Nordin from University Kuala Lumpur City Campus indicates my final year project to find a solution. What I have developed is a digital learning platform for nutrition topic science form 2. I presented to you my digital.
Okay, so I think the strength is a good slide presentation. Okay, however, as you can see the tone, perhaps Edina can make it slower. Okay, because it's not tone, the pace, sorry. Okay, the pace. Okay, because perhaps she's dealing with the nerves currently when the recording takes place. Okay, so perhaps you need to make it slower. Okay, because sometimes we can't hear the words, and then sometimes some of the words is actually being swallowed. All right. Okay, so for our final session later, okay, please be careful with this particular kind of criteria. Oh, sorry, I left one video. I termiss pula one video. Okay, so this will be the last video that I want to share with you. And I already write down the strength of this video. Oh, okay. This last video, actually, I love how the participants, which is specifically, what is name? Alamak, I tak tulis pula what is name. Saifuddin. Okay, Saifuddin. Saifuddin used to refer or get the gesture of the hands used to refer to the slide. Okay, so means he always show to the slides. Okay, so these are the strength, I think, in this particular presentation. So perhaps later in your live session, probably you won't have these particular things, but you can use the gesture to emphasize certain point. That's all actually that I want to emphasize to you. Means the gesture too needs to have a meaningful kind of gesture and just to emphasize an important points in the presentation. If not, then you can rest your hands on the table. Okay. Kalau tidak, tak perlu nak ambil gesture hands and whatnot. Okay, so let us take a look this particular last video. Sorry, kejap, hold on. 1 minute. Okay. Oops. Okay.
Electric device. Now, it does amazing things, but most of us don't even know about it. But now we will know. To introduce you to my friend here, the piezoelectric device this one is a zinc oxide based piezoelectric device. It comes originally from the zinc oxide crystal. Now, if we zoom a bit into this crystal device, we'll see this crystalline structure. Now, if we rotate the structure a bit into an exact angle where we see this hexagonal shape, this hexagonal shape is very special and it does all the piezoelectric effect work. Now, it's very special because the bonds between...
Okay, the strength of this participant is he always refer to these particular points of the slide to emphasize the point that is explained, okay? But since you are doing live later on, but yeah, perhaps you can use this particular style in your other presentation, okay? But in anyhow, I want to also emphasize that there are few informations in this video that is not clearly presented. So perhaps Saifuddin, next time, next round, your presentation, please emphasize on these particular words, okay, so that the participants, the audience can make sense of your information that you presented. That one is the first thing. And then also the figures, you can also add a simple or short names to that particular figures that you show in your slide. So at least the audience can refer to which figure when you are actually talking about those particular points. Okay, so this will be the comments for the last video. And perhaps later on, you can also use these particular comments to enhance your presentations in your live session later. Okay, so I think that will be all 5 videos that have been selected randomly, and I put my comments in terms of the strength and the weaknesses. And actually, my first presentation that I shared with you together with the 3 factors and whatnot, those is actually refer to the summarizations of all the videos that I've been watched. So itu adalah the points that you can emphasize that later on for your live session, inshallah. Okay, so we have, we don't have any more time because we're until 5 p.m., right? But if you have any questions, I can open it for a few minutes just for you to ask any questions that you want to clarify with me.
Doctor.
Yeah, loud.
The question came to my mind, which is if in the final or in other future competition, if we are allowed to share the screen ourselves, is it necessary to use the cursor to point the parts of the cursor when you are presenting?
Okay. All right, cool. This is a good question. I think it depends on the organizer. Perhaps Nadiah can respond to these questions. Nadiah? Because for me, I think there will be no activity allowed on the screen because you can't have any kind of this kind of thing, activities that happens on the screen during your presentation. So to be safe now, don't do any activities on the screen when you're presenting in the competition. But you can use those particular points when you present your proposal and whatnot. Okay, you can use that particular function.
So it's recommended for us to design the poster into an order form, right? So the audiences can actually read the poster according to the order.
Yes, correct. Okay. So just showing the slide, solely the slide, then the audience can make sense of the flow of the presentation. It will be good.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that questions. Any other question, guys? Okay, so if there's no questions, my last word for all of you, all the best. Okay, please do a practice. I think everybody always said that practice makes perfect, kan? But nothing is perfect. So there's always a room for improvement. And I can see that in the videos I've watched previously, all of you have a very good potential, okay? And you all have a very good research. So I think you need to perhaps emphasize on how to contextualize the research, the content of your research. And you can use the templates or the questions that I've provided earlier in my slide, and also all the points that I have highlighted, inshallah. Okay, so all the best for all of you in this competition. So perhaps I give back this screen to Nadiah.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Tuti, for this wonderful sharing. I would like to request all of the participants to open their camera because we would like to take a group photo with our speaker today. And we hope that you will use the information and tips shared by Dr. Tuti just now to improve your next presentation later. And for your information, the finalist name list will be emailed to you by today to everyone's to every participant's email. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so we will be waiting for all the participants to open their camera, please. Or is there any issue with the camera? Okay, I will wait for about 5 seconds and we will take a group photo, okay? All right. Okay, anyone else? Okay, one, okay. We will take a group photo, okay? We will take 2 shots. One is the formal one and another is a freestyle one. Okay, smile. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and another one, freestyle. 1, 2, 3. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Tuti. And good luck to all of the participants in this competition. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Bye. All the best.
Thank you, Doctor.